Okay, now we're going to be creating the multiple table report. It might sound a little complicated, but once you see it work out, it's really not that difficult. What we want to do here is make sure your navigation pane is showing. And then what we want to do is click on the recruiter table. Basically, whatever we have selected here will be the first option of tables that we can use to select fields from for our report. So we're going to use the recruiter table first. We're going to go to Create Report Wizard, just like we did before. Now you can see what I was saying there. The table recruiter here is listed here in our tables and queries, and then the fields from that table are listed here as our available fields. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add the recruiter number. Then we're going to add the first name and then the last name of the recruiter. Okay? The next thing we want to do now, this is where the multiple table part of this comes into play. We're going to click the drop down box here. We're going to select the table client. So we're switching tables now. Now the available fields are the fields that are in the client table. Okay? What we want to select from that is the client number, the client name, the amount paid, and the current due. And these are our fields from the client table. Now we hit next. Now because it's a multiple table report, we have to have some kind of grouping here. It's going to be grouping by recruiter. So each recruiter has a number of clients. So we list the recruiter first, and then under that we'll list all of their clients. Okay, sort of like we did with the city before, where each city had a number of clients. Now it's grouped by recruiter. Since it's a multiple table report, we do that here. Now in this, so hit next, and then in this next window we can add more levels of grouping. We're not going to for this, but if let's say I had city here, I could add another grouping on city. So then it would be all the recruiters and then all of the clients in a specific city for that recruiter, and that's how it would do the grouping. We're going to just hit next and move on. And here we can choose to sort it, and I believe we're going to sort it by, let's see, client name. Yeah. So go ahead and select client name, and this is where you can add that sorting in while you're doing the wizard. In the last report we did it outside of the wizard after we had already created the report. So hit next. We're going to leave it on stepped. We're going to change the orientation to landscape though. And we're going to hit next. Leave the style module and hit next. And we're going to call this report clients by recruiter. Okay, and then finish, and we'll get to see the report. Okay, there it is. If you just click on this, you'll see it all on one page. Right, and there's the recruiters. There's each of their clients and the information about those clients. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to resize the columns and the column headings. Okay, so to do that, we're going to close our report, and then we're going to right click on it and open it in layout view. Now we did this already with the city, but we're going to make it a little different. We're going to make it bigger here. So we're going to click on recruiter number, the recruiter number heading. We're going to drag this down a little bit to about there. Okay, and then what we want to do next is we're going to resize this down to take up less space there. So now we got recruiter number like that, and we're going to do the same with all of our columns. First name, last name, client name, client number. Right. With the amount paid, I'm actually going to make it a little bigger because we don't know what the data is going to be in our report, and if it gets up into the millions, we want to make sure we have enough room to fit that in there without showing the number signs. You might have saw the number signs show up in some of your cells in Excel. What those number signs mean is the space for that value isn't big enough to hold what the actual value is. So when we expand this out, then we can see them. I'm going to make them a little bigger, and there we have our columns and headings, the widths that we need. In the next lesson, we're going to learn a little bit about how to add fields and how to manipulate those a little more.